Rafa, I did want to ask you, I mean, I know we all have like a freelance career, but we're also doing things to build our own art business. And it seems like one of the things you've done is did you create Stout Club or did you co-create Stout Club?
Stout Club is kind of an experiment because back in 2014, that was just the name of the studio. This is a studio where we started, and the idea was pretty much having like a co-working place, not necessarily for comics. But on the end of the day, things kind of moved into comics direction. We are trying to bring voices from Brazil and try and find talents from Brazil. Also new talents.
This is the Inkpulp podcast.
Hey, we're recording now. You hit the record button, and now we record.
So
it's very funny when we record.
Matteo's speaking Italian now. You probably don't understand it because it's not English.
I turn into Mario, my alter ego.
You're the pizza guy now.
Mario Scalera. I'm Mario. I deliver the pizza to the house of the people and I make them happy, you know. And I play the mandolino and I drive the Ferrari.
That explains your bye-bye now. It's Mario. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Inkpulp podcast. The Fratelli brothers, Matteo and Shawn, are here, and we have our special guest and friend, Rafael Albuquerque.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. And Rafael's coming live from Brazil. What part of Brazil are you in?
Porto Alegre, south of Brazil.
Oh, by the way, Rafa, I forgot to ask you before we started recording, how's the situation over there? Because that area of Brazil was affected by a really bad flood a few months ago. And what's the situation now?
The water's down, of course, but there's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So people are rebuilding. We are now it's getting better, but it was a struggle. And also, I'd like to thank you guys for helping out on the auction. That was a really good support for the victims. So
dude, I was happy
who collaborated and bid. So
let's talk about that. How much money did you guys raise?
It was, I can't remember the number now, but it was like maybe almost $200,000, which was
fucking amazing.
It was a bit more than $500,000 reais, which was very good.
Wow, that's amazing. So what happened was there was these horrible floods, and was it you, Rafael Grampa,
and I from Chiaroscuro Studios,
right?
We got together to create this campaign.
Right. So
there were other people also, other artists, people from Prado, and different people were trying to get together and trying to raise money for the ones who were affected. Personally, I wasn't. I was living in a higher place, but there's some collateral damage. I was without water for 12 days, and that was okay for me. But
right,
there are
because notoriously you don't shower, so
right, you're filthy. we know that.
We had like a reservatory at the house, so it was okay for us. And we had a pool in the house, so we could clean with pool water. So we were fine. But on the end of the day, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, it sounds awful. Man. So you guys had a bunch of artists like basically auction off commissions on. Was it all on Twitter?
I think so, because I wasn't on Twitter. Thank God. But. Ivan from Chiaroscuro, he organized this part, so he was. I think the auctions were done at Twitter.
Yeah, and that's great.
Have all the pieces been done already, or you're still waiting for some of them?
I don't really know. Ivan's taking. Well, I did my part, and I think most of the artists delivered already.
Yeah,
but I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know who didn't deliver? Probably Eric. I don't think Eric delivered. where have you seen Eric, Matteo?
No, I heard from him like a few days ago just to check
Yeah.
if everything was
Yeah.
okay with him.
Do you know what
Because
part of the
we
world
never
he's in?
acknowledged this situation actually. Like we've been
Right.
like we've been without Eric for a while, but we know as much as you know about this thing. It keeps skipping episodes.
Is he
Like
alive? Did
he's
check
alive. He texted me like 2 or 3 days ago. And so he's alive. But he's probably, the new job and the new, having to deal with the family stuff. So probably he has too much on his, how do you say it in English? In his
plate,
on
too
his
much
table,
on his plate. Yeah.
Right now. So he can't make it. And that's it. We'll wait for him when he's ready to come back.
So if it was too much on his table, we'd say tavolo, right?
Sul tavolo, esatto. Exactly.
I'm learning.
Tavolo is table, right?
Yeah. Tavolo.
I'm learning.
I'm learning
Are
too.
you learning as well?
Are you studying Italian, Rafa?
No, but I have to. I want to.
Yeah, I've been studying it. I'm on today was like day 140 in a row for me. I'm using Duolingo, the app.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's good. It's fucking.
But Rafa, I think that for you it should be pretty easy because Italian structurally, like the phrases, the grammar, it's pretty similar.
I also know a little bit of Spanish, so kind of
okay.
floats in between.
Yeah.
But tavola is a word in Portuguese, but it's more like a big table where people are around.
Mm-hmm.
We call like a drawing table is like a mesa, but a tavola like a big one, rounded.
Okay, gotcha. No, for us it's tavola for everything.
Tavola for car, you say tavola for microphone. You say
we mostly
tavola?
use tavola we use tavola for basically 99% of everything. Like
it's
Shawn
just a lot
is
of
tavola.
hand gestures.
And depending on the hand gestures, the word tavola takes different meanings.
Perfetto. So, Rafa, I did want to ask you, because we talk a lot about what people are doing. I mean, I know we all have like a freelance career, but we're also doing things to build our own art business. And it seems like one of the things you've done is did you create Stout Club or did you co-create Stout Club?
Yeah, it's a Stout Club is kind of an experiment because back in 2014, that was just the name of the studio. This studio where we started, and the idea was pretty much having like a co-working place, not necessarily for comics. My ex-girlfriend was a photographer and she used to work here. Rafa Scavone was a web designer, but also flirting with writing. But on the end of the day, things kind of moved into comics direction. So we used to have a website with content and stuff. That didn't work it out very well, but it was interesting.
What didn't work about the website?
I mean, it's not that didn't work, but it didn't track it very much. It was expensive to keep doing that and didn't pay back. But that was not the idea. The idea was pretty much spotlight art in general, art that we liked. But also, it was kind of a brand I wanted to have for convention products, pretty much sketchbooks and stuff like that. I'd like to have this brand so people, a small store or something like that. But
like merchandise and publishing?
Yeah. But on the end, Brazilian Panini offered us the possibility to create our own books with them, having like an imprint in there. So we did. So that kind of moved us into this direction of doing, our own creator projects. And we did for a while. Also didn't work out very well because Panini here is not the best.
And by the way, sorry to interrupt, Shawn, do you know what panini means in Italian?
Panini it's bread. It's not bread. Is it bread? No.
It's you
sandwich.
Yeah, sandwiches because it's plural. Panini. Panino
okay.
is one, and panini is. Yeah. Okay, sorry to interrupt for this really important information.
Yeah, so I got it.
But then we kind of realized that that's the thing we really wanted to do. Create comics, create our own projects, but with these different systems, not just me writing my own story and eventually it's going to be published. It's like a writer's room, and I think that's the difference.
Explain that. So you all get together?
Yeah, right now it's more like a production company in a way, or a studio. We get together, someone brings an idea and we get together in a meeting and kind of flesh it out until you have like a structure, until you have like a story.
Right. So for example, if you come to the group, you're like, I have an idea, and you guys sit down and hash it out. Do you then go make your book, and are you just the creator and they all helped you, or is it Stout Club is writing this and I'm drawing it?
The property, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours. But it's like a collaborative stuff. Because the way it is, Stout Club have like a share of it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
For a certain amount of time. So it's not just basically what Stout Club does is taking this, we kind of polish this original idea, we find the artist, or we get, we kind of set the team to do that. We sell it to someone like Comics or Dark Horse, and we will have like a share for 10 years, let's just say.
Okay, so it's a production company for comics, basically.
If you're not happy, it will turn back to you, unless it's something that, since the beginning, is created by more than one people. For example, Mondo Urbano, that was before Stout Club, but it's part of the thing.
Yeah, I remember. I still have you did this small volumes, right? I remember.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Mondo Urbano is owned by me, Matteo Santoloco, and Eduardo Medeiros. So we three are the owners of that project. Let's just say Hailstone, it's owned by Scavone and Rafa de la Torre. So they are the owners of that, but Stout Club has a share of it for a certain amount of time. If they do not want to renew with us to keep trying to push it forward, they can just take it out and it's theirs. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And is it just comic book rights, or it's like overall rights, media and everything, the share, or it depend on the contract? And
it's pretty much everything.
Okay.
But there are different percentages,
Yeah. Of course, that's
Gotcha.
That's you personally deal with the creators, and you have your thing.
Yeah, or we find the right people to deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So is it something that you mainly do to promote strictly like projects from Brazil, or it's something that you've been trying to expand to the rest of the world? I'm just curious here. So whatever comes to my head, I'll just ask you.
Right now, we are trying to bring voices from Brazil and try and also try to find talents from Brazil. Also, new talents, newcomers. There's this guy who's doing a book called Sliced that is coming out through Comixology soon. This guy is brilliant. His name is Guilherme Grandizoli. It's his first comic book. He did like shorts, but it's his first graphic novel. So he's a guy from animation. But, you know, we really like to do this talent search in different areas as well, and trying to bring them to comics and push them into that. So right now it's about Brazil, but our goal eventually is trying to expand to Latin America voices, point of views, not necessarily stories that are happening in Brazil.
The story can be about anything, but you know the creators.
Yeah, precisely.
Should be from South America.
It's kind of promoting a Latin American vision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the stereotyped vision that America and the rest of the world have about us Latins, but it's more like it's probably what Del Toro do, you know, or Cuarón do. Or, you know, they do movies about everything, but they have a vision, they have a sight, a point of view that is very particular.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, please remember to send us like the name of this guy that you just mentioned in other project. And if you give us image, we'll be more than happy as we're talking when the show airs. We'll show pictures and stuff.
Yeah, our editor can put that in so Jamie gets to work.
I'll send you the thing later. I can send you the PDFs as well. I'd love to know your opinions about it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be amazing. And but you're working mainly for the U.S. industry, so everything gets translated in English, or are you publishing stuff in Brazil as well, or South America in general?
It's the other way around. It's funny because we
I know. I already know what you're saying, but please explain.
So we have this deal with Amazon with Comixology. So they have the right for first publication, and we hold the rights and also international rights, except for Brazil. So we can publish them in Brazil after them. And we have done that with some of our books, not them all yet, but we have Funny Creek published in Brazil. It's a beautiful, beautiful edition. We have what else? Hailstone published in Brazil. It's a beautiful edition as well. So we can bring these things to Brazil after they are published.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. Because it's the same with me. Like sometimes, especially back in the day, I had maybe a project or two that I wanted to do. And I would talk to, friends here in Italy, and they were like, oh, okay, well, there's a publisher here that might be interested. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'll always start from the States. And then eventually they'll have to buy it from whoever publisher has it.
Matteo, why is that? Why is that?
Because, generally speaking, like the contracts in Italy for this kind of product, like, this kind of product, let's say, I don't know, Black Science. Yeah. If I started doing it in Italy, it would be like a library product, which means it will sell like, I don't know, if you're lucky, like 5,000 copies, and it's a success with 5,000 copies. And not only that, usually the contracts for this kind of things are like 50-50. So basically, I will have to find a publisher in Italy, share 50-50 of nothing, basically, because the profit is nothing. Basically, a lot of authors, what they do, which publish only in Italy, what they do is get an advance, and that's all basically they see. Especially because a lot of, and I might be wrong here, but this is my feeling about this whole thing, a lot of publishers, the main income, they have it from big shows, and it's all basically, that doesn't count as sales when it comes to
Right.
the final. You're not gonna see money from those sales, basically.
Right.
So
Right.
basically, all you're gonna see is the advance, and then eventually, if it's successful enough, and let's say Image is interested, so you'll publish it with Image, but then you'll have to share with this Italian publisher because they have,
Oh, okay.
Right.
they own it. They're like 50% owner read you. So basically you're losing so much money in this whole process that it's never convenient.
Usually, in order to get an advance, and these advances, the money you get to actually make the book,
Yeah.
it will pay for your time to produce that. The publisher, the first publisher gets 50%. That's the thing. So of everything else, and they usually have international rights, and that's the problem in a way.
Yeah.
So it's
So
hard to sell yourself. I mean, sell these things yourself. That's why we struggle a little bit to get that, but we got the rights to publish in Brazil at least because we know the publishers here, so we can get like a little extra in a way, and also make sure that we will have these books published the way we want, at least here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious, Rafa, because Matteo has been talking about we've been talking about Kickstarter a lot, and Matteo being in Italy, it's difficult. Would it be hard for you as well to do Kickstarter? I mean, fulfillment would be awful, I'd imagine, all the international shipping.
Yeah, that would be complicated. There are some similar tools here in Brazil. Catarse, for example, that is pretty much Kickstarter, but for Brazil. So that would be easier. But also, from my perspective, the majority of my audience is in the United States.
Right, right.
It makes more sense to do that as a Kickstarter. But I cannot handle the structure from Brazil. I would someone in the US to deal with that.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same problem that I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like there's got to it's a good opportunity for someone in the United States to create a service to run Kickstarters for international creators, and they can fulfill everything from the United States and all that.
Yeah, the problem is always one, which is for every person that you put in between you and the audience, they want to have a part of it. So you start doing, Kickstarter takes, I don't know what percentage. It's like 7% of the thing. And then you have this guy who offers the platform to do it. Not the platform, sorry, but, a third person that's like, okay, I have a company and we're going to sell it through me. It's going to be like 5% or a flat fee. I don't know, whatever. And then you have, and then you start having this guy who's like, okay, I can provide service with print and distribute. It's going to be X $1,000. And so the money, starts, lowering and lowering down. So.
I could see that.
But maybe it's the difference about you making much more money than, trying to take care of everything by yourself and spending much more money with shipping and stuff. So maybe it's
absolutely. It's something that you have to consider and you have to calculate. You have to sit on a table for a couple of days at least and start making the math and everything. Because to be honest with you, I was and a guy wrote me on Instagram, a guy who listens to the podcast. He's a Canadian, and he told me like there's a chance for people from other countries to open like an LLC in the States. So it is possible, but it's something that we're not very we're pretty ignorant about. So so we would need somebody who knows about this stuff and it could tell us how
also
to
there's a lot of people who are doing Kickstarters, but they are also using the services of a publisher as well, let's just say Image.
Boom.
I mean, Boom, exactly.
Yeah, so Boom is one of the most successful.
Exactly. of course, they have Keanu Reeves. That helps. What I'm
I
saying
mean,
is that
I'm better looking than Keanu, but I'm not as famous. I don't know why. Like this is just destiny.
Yeah, it's.
But
I mean,
What?
honestly, it's. I created this podcast with Matteo to try to get the world exposed to the greatness of Matteo, so he can be the next Keanu Reeves.
the audience knows nothing.
Jamie, this is your cue to put Matrix glasses on Matteo.
and long hair.
Or better yet, let's do Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Did you had that movie, right? You know that one?
Which one?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Keanu Reeves when he was younger. Yeah.
I saw just the first one. Yeah. Of course. I'd never watched the third one.
No, I haven't either. But actually, you know what? There was one. Didn't one come out during COVID? Didn't they
Yes,
release
that's
it?
the third one. I mean,
Yeah. People liked it. I didn't see it. I'm not going to see it, but people said they liked it. Matteo, do you know what we're talking about?
No, absolutely. I was just not in. Like, I understood the joke in my head. Like, it must be a movie that he did when he had that specific, like, look. So it made me laugh anyways, but I don't know.
It was basically they were Beavis and Butthead before Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm.
They were just, it was like Bill. Yeah, they're like these little metalhead dummies that have to travel through time to save the world.
Okay. Is that from the 90s or so? Like the story it sounds like a perfect like
so
story
90s.
from the 90s.
It's so 90s. Okay. Yeah, it's so 90s. But I'm surprised. Like it seems like a movie you would have watched because it's got a lot of heavy metal
I mean,
stuff
when you start describing the story, something resonated with me. So I think I have some images in my head.
Okay.
But I haven't seen it.
But now you're old and senile and you can't remember things.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. That's easy. Easy enough. Go ahead. Did you have a question?
No. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel like this is a really good opportunity because we have two artists on the show who have basically dedicated their inking towards inkwash. And I would love to talk about the evolutions of your craft with, because Rafael, if I remember correctly, when you first came into American comics, you were not using inkwash. It was just black and white. Is that correct?
Yeah. First time I did inkwash was an American Vampire. Actually.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So what led you to make that choice?
It's funny because when I was hired to do that, they were looking for someone who was able to kind of switch styles. And they have seen Mondo Urbano, which was much... before that, I was doing Blue Beetle, which was very tight. Right. I was following the hammer way. Mm-hmm. But that was not natural for me. I always wanted to be more gestural and stuff. So I did Mondo Urbano as an experiment. Just let's see how it goes.
Sure.
And it changed a little bit. So Will Dennis got to see that, and he liked it and saw that I was able to switch that. So I was hired because I had to do that Scott story, and also there is like a Stephen King story, and they needed to look different. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel it was different enough, and I was scared to shit to do inkwash because I didn't know how to do that. So I did some tryouts and stuff, and say, hey, you know what, let's just do it and see how it goes. And it turns out cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful.
That's how it was. I mean, so I, of course, started to learn a little more about that and try to play with shadows and blah, 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 blah.
Were you just figuring it out on your own as you were going, or were you looking at some other artists' work and like gaining knowledge and inspiration from that?
You Italians are badass. I was looking, of course, to Ivo Milazzo, who's my favorite artist in
Oh
the
shit!
world.
Yeah.
But also Massimo Carnevale.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck!
Yeah, he's
Oh my
amazing.
god!
I was trying to get there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the guys I was looking for at the time, but I don't know. It was just trying to figure out how to do it. It was a last minute decision to
That's
decide
amazing.
to go with Inkwashes because I tried. I had that page inked like 3-4 times in different styles. The first page of Stephen
Oh,
King's
wow.
story.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of printed it and tried to play with different stuff, and that was the only one who actually,
Clicked.
that I actually like it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Shawn, you ready for this pre-launch?
Is that like a sexual thing?
What? No. The pre-launch page for my Kickstarter book called Defective Comics Presents Savage Street Vigilante.
Yeah, I'm really ready for that. Yeah.
Okay, cool, because people can hit the link below, sign up to follow the pre-launch page, and then the whole campaign kicks off on October 1st to actually purchase the book. And it's going to be wild, man.
I'm excited.
Sexually excited?
Yes.
I think the people are going to get pretty horny about this.
But
And-
you said so. Go ahead, Matteo. Go ahead.
You know, it was it's related to this. So, like in this case, for example, did you talk to the publisher regarding? Also, I wanted to add something else, but I'm gonna ask this first. Do you usually talk to the publisher when your intention is to change the style a little bit, or you just do it?
They wanted me to do something different, but I didn't actually ask it if I could do ink washes or whatever. I just did, and hey,
It's weird
this is
how-
how deal with that.
Yeah, it's weird how there was a specific request. Like it never happened to me where the publisher asks me to do something different. Like specifically ask me, do something
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, but I
Maybe
was hired.
it's expected from me because I have every project I try something different. But
It could be.
Yeah, but they hired me specifically because they wanted to have like a different approach because there are two different timelines, right?
Yep.
So works out. I really like that.
Yeah, you've stuck to it for the most part, right? Since then.
Yeah, and the second thing I wanted to say, and this is because you mentioned Will Dennis, like we back in the day in a couple of episodes, we spoke about one of the problems now in the industry is they're not using like they're use young people that want to become writers as editors for a second, and then they leave, and then another young person take their place. A lot of times that this happens. I unfortunately with Will Dennis, he came on board on Black Science right at the end of Black Science. So we technically worked together on Black Science, but it was already, it was issue number 42 and 43. So everything was done already, basically. But recently, I had the pleasure of doing a cover for a distillery, and he was the editor. And man, like just for a cover, he's, observations and stuff, I could tell already he is like the next level editor. And I got a taste of what it means having a next level editor. Not that I didn't work with great editors. I worked with great editors, so don't get me wrong, but he's a special one, I think. And it's there's a reason why he's so known in the community for being a great editor.
Oh, absolutely. He's great. And he doesn't really want to stay on the way, which I think is great. He just points out what is off. And
Yeah.
but he's not someone who, trying to make you draw what is he in his mind. He just wants to polish what is in your mind. And I think
Yeah.
that's what a good editor do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He clearly, when you see that it's clear that there's no ego involved, he's
Exactly.
focused as we're gonna work together to make the best possible comic book, basically.
Mhm.
And once you see that and feel that, it gives you a lot of energy, I think, you know. And
That's the
even
same.
corrections that sometimes are frustrating, it gets easier because you see his vision and you feel part of a team who's trying to do better, basically. So
That's the
great.
same with Mark Boyle, who was like his
Oh yeah,
apprentice.
yeah,
Yeah,
Uh,
Matteo, you worked with Mark, right? On the Batman book you did?
On the
Yeah.
Batman book, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was
'Cause
another great
Mark,
experience with a great editor.
yeah, Mark was my editor on Arkham Manor. That was awesome. We had a
yeah,
great time
he's
working on
great.
that book.
I think he follows the same steps as Will. He's also very gives you a lot of freedom. He understands
Yep.
your vision, and he just points out exactly what needs to change. And sometimes it's a lot, but makes sense. It's not just
Yeah,
about ego, as I said.
Yeah, I found that anytime Mark was generally quiet on critique, but when he spoke up, it was right on point. Right on point.
Right.
That was good stuff. So Matteo, so when you started, you were not doing inkwash either. So what led you over to that side of the train tracks?
Well, for me, it was like since day one in my career, I've always done, like, for a reason or another, like sketches, like pinups and stuff like that. So not specifically work related, like not covers or interiors. And it started from when I say day one, I mean my first like art book
Mm-hmm.
that I done. So what I used to do is, for whoever bought a copy of that art book, I would attach a piece of paper with a drawing, and I would make a lot of them, you know. And then it
Mm-hmm.
became commissions and all this kind of stuff. So overall, I collected almost like 1,000 of this drawing during my career. Like
Okay.
I have all of them saved in a folder on my computer. It's like 850 something. And so I started with simple sketches, like ink with a pen and a brush,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started adding some gray tones there, and I started
Mm-hmm.
managing. I started how do you say when you're getting confident with this method,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm starting to like what I was doing there. So I started, like, I think it was with Black Science. I was like, what about I'll just do this for the covers, because I want to try to evolve and learn this method, of ink washes. And then I went to, how about with Harley, for example. I started with Black Science with how you say, flashback scenes. I started doing
Yeah.
some ink wash there, and then I was like, how about try and do a whole book? Will I be able to manage to use that technique for a whole book? And yeah, so, and now what I'm trying to do is going back to the lines and trying to find a nice medium between a nice mix between having inks there, but also using some gray tones that give more vibrancy to the whole image. So, and I'm talking about my book, my
Sure.
personal project, and that's
Right.
I think right now is this nice compromise that I found that makes me happy. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it forever, but this is
Right.
what makes me happy. I'm still I'm not one of those guys, unfortunately, that can make those strong choices like black or white. I still need
Right.
at least a mid tone because I
Really?
like to.
Sure.
Yeah, because I also like what I realized when I draw. I like drawing lines, and it's really hard for me when I
Yeah.
go to the inks to give up on all those lines.
So
My brain
so
is not
you'd
there.
right, I got you. So you'd prefer to have black lines and then a dark gray instead of a solid black, so you can see the lines?
Here and there. It depends on the mood, but generally speaking, my brain is not, right now at least, is not there. Like, it's not like in the Thoth place. Like, okay, this is gonna be black, and this is gonna be white, and here's white. You know?
Okay. So you're not going for a Sin City look.
Not yet. Although Sin City as a clear use of black and white, but it's more graphic than actually realistic. Graphic. Like, for example, Thoth in some of his books, like, he would actually study shadows and stuff. It was a realistic use of black and white, but somehow even Zaffino does that. Somehow you still see, everything. Like the lights are placed in the right way, so you can, even by showing 2 or 3 details, you're still able to read everything. I'm not, like, my brain is not there, unfortunately, yet.
Right. I got you. Did both of you find that Inkwash sped up your process or slow you down?
I think it depends, but sometimes it speeds me up, to be honest, because my mind works differently than Matteo. I'm someone who needs a very rough sketch that pretty much defines what the scene is about, and I cannot type the pencils very much, otherwise it's gonna be stiff. My ink needs this space to do whatever it has.
It needs room to to breathe.
So sometimes, and I think very technically, when I go for the inking, I just define where, I kind of know that, let's just say, I need a counter line here, so I can literally draw a line here, and I define where it should be black, where it should be white, and then I start to build the mid-tone, let's just say, until like a more hard light, then a more soft light, whatever. So I kind of build the scene this way. Sometimes it's much faster for me than actually draw every single line, because I can hide a lot with the Inkwash.
What about you, Matteo?
Well, I wish it could work that way. Like the comment on myself was that it's unfortunate that I cannot always do that. Like, sometimes I just catch myself, like, I'm midway through a page and I've just been drawing, because sometimes I get lost in drawing. And if I get too lost in it and I lose, like, if I didn't start from just, okay, let's just think about values and not drawing, but sometimes I get lost and I keep, especially one of those days when you're on and your brain, like, you're in the zone. I love drawing, and then I find myself having, like, I can keep, like, especially for my book now, they're not really defined. My pencils are not really tight. They're pretty sketchy, but at the same time, I'm having so much fun that I keep doing lines and lines and stuff. And so then I see that my brain, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're going to say.
No, I see that my brain is working, like the volumes and the stuff, the perspectives are working, the proportions. And I don't, I'm in that state. So I want to take advantage. So I start drawing. And then in the end, I'm like, oh, fuck, I didn't calculate any fucking values here. So I'll just go with instinct. But sometimes it doesn't work because the projected shadow of this thing goes against this other object that it's really important, because it's, I like the way it move into space. So I got to move the shadow here. And it's like recently I did I posted on Instagram a picture with I don't know if you saw that. There's 2 characters. There's a bed with a sick person on the bed.
And there's
a lot of,
there's a black. I know what you're talking about.
That's one of those, like, because I actually, like, underneath it, I drew everything. And then I was like, but now it's not a dramatic scene. Like, I want it to be dramatic. I want it to be mostly, there's a lot of black there, and only a few white shapes. So I started doing it, and then I realized, okay, this shadow, it doesn't work. Like if I go by the book, it's gonna ruin this composition. So I have to. You can see, like, if you know about drawing, you'll see that some shadows are kind of fucked up. I have to move them. I had to, arrange stuff because I didn't calculate that.
I saw that. I saw that, and I remember. Go ahead, Rafa.
Being by the book, it's about creating best scene as you can. Fuck it, it's right or wrong.
No,
absolutely. But at the same time, if I start thinking about the values, I'm gonna place objects in the right spots so that everything works. In that case, I had to work on values after the whole thing was already drawn, and I liked it. And I didn't want to move stuff. I moved stuff a little bit here and there, but I was pretty happy with it. So I kind of had this kind of compromise between something very drawn and something with a lot of values, basically.
Right.
So when you're drawing, when you're penciling, you like to, not always, but you like to be thinking about the values at that stage?
It really depends on sometimes it depends on the day. Like sometimes I think in values and I start from there. But most of the time I'll just start, drawing, and that's it. So I would say 80% of the time it comes from drawing. So composition in terms of drawing. Mm-hmm. And then the values come as I'm drawing. Sometimes I start thinking, sometimes I completely forget because I'm too into what I'm doing. So I realize at the end, it really depends.
Yeah,
what about you, Rafa?
I'm the same thing. Yeah, I have a basic idea in my mind, but of what I want, and especially the mood of what I want. But pretty much what the art is gonna be kind of happens. It's not something I have full control about.
Right. So, Matteo, I was going to ask earlier. So when you're drawing and you just get in the zone and you forget while you're doing this, is it safe to say that's when Dumb Shark comes into play in the art process?
It's definitely another of those Dumb Shark episodes. Like, and in the end, I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? Why did I do this? But, it happens.
You're just drawing with big pupils.
Yeah, so basically, most of my career is learn how to fix the mistakes that I did when I was in Dumb Shark mode.
So I think what we need to do is you need a tattoo of Dumb Shark. I think we got to design Dumb Shark and you get a tattoo of Dumb Shark. I think it's important.
I think I know who's gonna do that on me.
I think so too.
Rafa, do you know that Shawn is now starting to tattoo?
Shawn's what?
Is now starting to tattoo.
Oh, are you? No, I didn't.
Yeah, I just did my 10th tattoo on Friday, my 11th, and then Monday I'm going to do my 12th.
Okay, at least you know how to draw. That's a good start.
Yeah.
That's what artists don't.
Yeah, it's true. That I wish I could talk about that medium with you guys. It's like thinking about inking and actually with inkwash is like you can do some amazing stuff with tattooing. It's such a like when you're using grays and a mag, which is the like rectangular needle that does the fills. When you're using like inkwashes with that, it's so soft. You can get that's why like people can get amazing photorealism out of it. But you can get these beautiful washes and soft transitions.
I don't know if I ever told you, but I've actually tattooed like a little bit, like not a full tattoo. But I tried it one time.
Yeah.
Like, but a friend of mine was getting a tribal something tattoo here. It's
okay.
So basically, there was like 5 triangles here, and he had the outline, and they needed to be filled up with black ink. Mm-hmm. So we were talking with the tattooer as he was tattooing. It's like, oh yeah, I would love to try one day. I wasn't a comic book artist yet. I was trying to be a comic book artist. So tattooing was one of the options. So, so I kept talking about it. I was like, and he was like, and my friend was the one getting tattooed. So my friend was like, hey, do you want to try like this 5 triangles? Do you want to fill them up? was like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, let's try. So I did it. It was really weird because the reaction is
And
not the one
Yeah.
that you get from
and
the
the
paper.
tattoo artist was cool with it? Like the tattoo artist was just like, here you go?
Yeah. He let me do it.
That's cool.
And, well, because my friend gave the permission. So
But some tattoo artists are like, you can't touch the machine until you've been trained, or this is my sacred tattoo machine. Like,
no, in that case, it wasn't that jealous about this stuff.
Okay.
And so like a couple of weeks go by, and then I see my friend, and I had forgotten about this tattoo thing, and I was like, oh fuck, I remember, like I did the 5 triangles. I was that healing. I was like, it's okay. And I was like, what happened? It's fine. It's fine. I was like, no, you gotta show me. So basically, okay, out of it was 5 triangles in a line. The first one was completely white because it was all scar tissue. But you could see that it got better by triangle 5. So the first one was white. The second one was light gray. The third one was gray. The other one, the fifth one was kind of black, not entirely black, but it was kind of black. So I was trying to get somewhere.
Was the tattoo artist like giving you pointers as you went, and that's what helped you get better?
No, not really. It's just
you just figured it out.
Yeah. It was just he just told me just go do it with confidence, because one thing that I saw that as soon as the needle was going in the skin, there was a lot of ink going around, so I couldn't see anymore where it was going.
Yes.
You got to be confident in the fact that you remember where the line was.
Yes.
But I would get scared because I wasn't able to see that line.
Right.
I could never do that. I wouldn't have the guts to do that in someone else.
Oh, really?
Because are you afraid you'd mess up? Is that what?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for, shit on your arm or something.
It's funny. That's what Mike Huddleston said, the same thing. I'm like, dude, you can draw circles around me. Why should I have the confidence to do this? But it's like, yeah, fuck it.
Not something I can just control, come back, or
Yeah, there's no control Z in tattooing.
You're like, I do that a lot. I'm working digitally mostly now, so it's like I do like a face, and that looks okay, and then I flip just to check because there's something off. I flip, and then the eye's like there.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Where in someone's art.
Where does it usually go? Because for me, it's always the same when I flip it. Like the right side goes up, like this, literally. Sometimes it's like so fucked up.
Some guys like here.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't happen that often. I'm professional enough, but eventually.
It's it's funny, just for the people out there that don't understand, when you flip your drawing upside down or mirror your drawing, your brain sees it a different way. It's using a different side of your brain than the brain side that drew it. So like if you look at a drawing, you're like, something's off, but I can't tell, and you flip it, it like screams at you like, oh shit, that eye is all the way on the other side of the head.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's why we do that.
So do you think that it's there's people that don't have that thing in their brain, so they're always like perfect and they don't have that, or every human being has that thing?
No,
that
I think that's just the way the brain works. I mean, like I just did a Dr. Doom painting, and I drew it, and I looked at it, I was like, it looks okay. And then I blew it up and like transferred it to my board. And I was like, there's just something funny. And I put it upside down, and I noticed it was Spider-Man. It turned out I was.
You were drawing Spider-Man,
but like one side of the face, it was like the face was like this, like one side was higher than the other. And I just couldn't see it, but once I flipped it, I was like, "Oh my god, that's so easy, apparent now." But I think that's just how the brain works.
Yeah. Do you have something that you usually do? Because you said sometimes that there's a side that goes up, and do you have a thing that you always do, or sometimes the right side is up and the left side is up?
No.
Go ahead, Rafa. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go.
I need to pay attention to that. That's a good. I do notice. It's usually one eye is higher than the other, but I haven't paid attention to if it's the same side each time. I'll pay attention to that.
To me, it's always the same side. It's always the right side goes always up, always. Even sometimes, even if I draw, like if I know that it's a big face, so I need it to be as symmetrical as possible. Like I draw lines with a straight edge or something, and still my instinct is to go a little. Even if I see the fucking line, I have to go a little up there. It's you're stronger than me.
It's so arrogant of you. The line is telling you where to go. You're like, that line is wrong.
You're fucking wrong. How about you, Rafa? Do you ever notice there's a specific side that you made that mistake on, or?
Not really, but there's one thing that, again, being digital is good for that. But sometimes I draw the whole face too low, so people tend to be.
Oh yeah.
I have to wait. I do that a lot.
I do that when I design when I draw faces in perspective like this.
Yeah, exactly.
This part tend to be like if I start from the face, then I start. I'm like, fuck, the hair needs to be attached like here, basically. I'm like, fuck, I completely messed up the proportions here.
That's what happens with me, so I have to fix it. Digitally is easy, but when you're like in a commission,
yeah.
So next year, I'm thinking about next year on conventions on Sundays, just like putting out the word to take one tattoo client and like do it at my behind my banner or something at each show. So hopefully,
do you think you would need like? Is it something that is legal to do at a comic book show?
Well, some shows have tattoo. So in order for a tattoo artist to tattoo at a convention, you have to get a local temporary license to do it. So some shows have tattoo area. Like, have you seen conventions here in the States where they have like
yeah, it happens sometimes. Yeah.
So what they do for that is they're like, we're going to have an area for tattooing. So they have someone that works for the convention facilitate everyone getting the license. So I could do it, but I'll probably bootleg it. Like I'll just do it behind my banner. With tattoo machines now, they're so quiet and there's no cords and everything's disposable. And I could probably do it for a little bit, but I should be looking into how to do it, like get my license and all that. But I'll probably just do some bootleg style, or maybe like in the hotel room after the show, I'll tattoo Matteo's dumb shark.
No, I want you to tattoo my asshole with a bullseye around it.
Oh, baby, I get it every time.
So speaking of shows, you're saying, Rafa?
Never mind.
You just want to step down to our level.
Speaking of shows, are you going to be at New York as well?
I'm not doing shows this year because our airport is still closed. I mean, they are working. They're kind of reopening in October, but we are not sure when and if all the flights will be available again. So for this year,
because of that, still because of the flood. Shit, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there are flights that coming out from Florianopolis. That is the next state up on north, but I mean, I don't want to take like a 8-hour drive and get
Oh my God. Fuck that.
So this year I'm done. Might do São Paulo in December because by there it should be okay.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it, I suppose. But next year I really want to compensate.
Yeah.
Speaking
of São Paulo, Shawn, you've never done that show, CCXP.
No, I wanted to. Yeah.
and it's a beautiful show. A lot of attendees, like amazing people.
Is
It was a
that the
great
biggest? It's one of the biggest cons in the world, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
huge.
I would love to do that show. Yeah, I've never been to Brazil, so yeah, I'd love to do that one.
Rafa, is that still in the same area that it used to, or they moved it somewhere else? If
No,
you
it's
know
same
that.
place. Yeah. But the place got bigger. They extended the convention center, so it's huge. It's like San Diego or New York. It's like that level.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I wish.
Rafa, what
One day I would
shows do you want to
go
do
back.
next year? Do you know?
I don't really know. I really wanted to go to Como because I was supposed to go this year
Oh,
and had to cancel it because it was right in time.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I still have to plan that. I'll probably do that by early, December or early
Okay.
January and figure it out. I'd like to do at least 4 cons in the United States or, at least outside of Brazil.
Have you heard of the
Or-
OAX
That's what I
con?
want to do.
Oh,
Have you heard
OAX. You should do that.
Yeah, have you heard of that one, Rafa?
Which one?
It's called OAX Original Art Expo in
In
Florida.
Orlando.
It's basically, Comic Art Fans, the website.
Mm-hmm.
So it's those, like the guys who run that site had a show last year. It was the first one, and the show was dedicated entirely to comic book art, just art. So there was no vendors, there was no writers. It was just artists and the original art and collectors of original art, and it was amazing. It was really easy to do. It wasn't like so crowded. It was crazy. Everybody made really good money, and it was just all about the art. So I recommend that one. I want to go back to that. That was a great show.
Are you guys doing that next year?
I want to. Matteo, you want to do it, right?
I would love to, but
Yeah.
we already spoke with Kazra doing it. They were
Right.
guests on the show a few months ago, and
What
it's
time
still
of year is it? When
Was
is
that-
that?
in January.
What time?
It's in
January?
late January. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Who knows?
but there's still, like, last year they had 2 Italians. They had Simone Bianchi and Simone Di Meo.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still into, trying to find the right balance between how many artists to invite, the money thing. They have to make a lot of math, of course, because last year was their first year. It was really successful.
Right.
But they're trying to find that nice spot between, guests, how many guests are going to be invited and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, having somebody from Italy, it's a nice chunk in their budget. So I don't know
Sure.
if in the end we'll make it happen, but I would love to.
Right.
Yeah. Jason's talking to them this week, so we'll see which essential people
Yeah,
get the invite.
that could be cool. I'd like to do something like that, especially art orientated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's great. I may, Matteo, if they invite you but don't invite me, I might just still go. Jim and I were talking about just going. And I mean, we might be able to incorporate Inkpulp into the show, maybe do like a live drawing stream or something with them. That would be, if they're open to that, that would be fun. But yeah, it's awesome. I recommend it.
Absolutely.
All right,
All right.
peoples.
Rafa, before we leave, is there anything particular that you want to plug, future project that you can talk about? Anything you would love to talk or put people's attention on?
What Matteo's asking is, do you want to tell him how handsome he is? That's what he wants.
Oh, that was the most handsome man I ever seen.
Oh, Matteo, I think he's got a crush on you.
I just wanted to point out that we have 2 Stout Club books out at Comixology right now. One of them is called Mistland by writer Felipe Castillo and illustrated by Felipe Watanabe and Alex Shibao. All of them are great. And Roderick from Eduardo Medeiros is also out. It's very funny, kind of medieval fantasy comic.
Yeah, I love his work. His work.
Oh, he's great.
Very funny.
Great guy too.
You should definitely check it out. It's beautiful, and they are both from Stout Club and this partnership with Comixology. So
are they? So if you buy through Comixology, it's digital only.
Shawn, did you just fart? I were like, I saw you doing this, and then I heard
no, it was my chair. The handle rubbed against my desk.
Yeah, your farting chair. Yeah. Sorry, Rafa, to interrupt. I had to verify this thing. I didn't know it was Free Fart Day, so.
Matteo, if I have to fart, I will definitely bend over and put my ass against the microphone and let you hear it in all its glory.
Sorry to interrupt, Rafa. You're saying?
No, it's fine. It was a good reason. But yeah, basically, you can check it out. I think if you have Amazon Prime, you can read them for free, I think. So check it out. And there's more stuff coming out quite soon from Stout Club at Comixology as well. So yeah, that's the message. I'm working on something else that I cannot really talk right now, but it's with Mark Miller, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be interesting.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man. Cool. Great to hear. We're back with Mark. I'll be back with him soon. So
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's amazing. And please share the links with us, so we'll put them in the description of this episode, so people will have a direct access to all the books all that info you talked about.
Yeah, I'll put it all. We'll put it in the description. Just email it to me. And thank you for doing the show, Rafa.
Thanks a lot, man.
That was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Absolutely.
Awesome, Matteo, are you ready? Dude, what? Well, you went opera on that one. All right, thanks everyone. Goodbye.
The Inkpulp podcast.
Right. Shawn, according to my analytics, your thumbnails are one of the highest in demand items on the internet. What have you got to say about that?
Jim, funny you should say that. I have a gift for everyone in the Inkpulp community. A free PDF of some of my thumbnails, as Jim said, which are in high demand. Also, I'm giving you a new home, the home of craft, the official home of the Inkpulp community, inkpulp.tv. A place where you can learn about the craft of comics, engage with the community, receive special offers, and so much more. In order to get your free PDF, head to Inkpulp TV, sign up for the newsletter. This is just the beginning of so many wonderful things to come. Thank you. Keep craft alive.